Welcome back to normal baseball. The Phillies and the Nationals played in the Little League World Series Classic. Julio Rodriguez made history at the plate, and the Red Sox hosted the Yankees' funeral in the Bronx. Welcome back to normal baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And those were just a couple of the things that happened in this pretty big weekend of baseball. It was fun to watch some of the games, but I'd say the most fun game of the weekend was probably the the Nationals and the Phillies, who played in the Little League World Series Classic last night. The Nationals did wind up taking the game 4-3. It was a fun game. It was cool to see them play in Williamsport. Obviously, the entire crowd was just full of the Little League World Series teams. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, another thing from that game is we saw a lot of players wearing, special uniform, like not uniforms, but special accessories to their uniforms and using special bats, customized bats. It was a lot of fun. Little League World Series Classic. Let's give it a round. It was a fun game, very fun game.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing beats, of course, the best part about the Little League World Series Classic is no doubt the handshake line at the very end of the game. It's just so not what you see in MLB today that it's a good change of pace. It's a regular season game. It doesn't mean that much. So to congratulate each team after such an amazing game, let's be real. I mean, yeah, Zach Wheeler did get shelled in the first inning, locked it down, and then the Phillies almost make a comeback in the top of the ninth inning. Would have been electric.
I mean, it was electric. Even though they didn't finish the comeback, it was still cool, and as it was happening, it was fun. I think they got a pretty good game there. Trevor Williams pitched really well, too, for the Nats.
Mm-hmm.
Should also be mentioned, rather.
Not overshadowed there.
Yeah, cannot ever overshadow that. I wanted to ask the question. We saw, the customized bats and the cool accessories.
The cleats were going crazy.
Cleats were really cool as well. This reminded me a lot of Players Weekend. Yeah. If you don't know what Players Weekend is, a couple of years ago, they did it for a couple of years. MLB hosted a Players Weekend, which players could, wear whatever they wanted to. They had the custom jerseys, and they had their nicknames on the back of their jerseys instead of their names. They could use whatever bats they wanted to, whatever cleats they wanted to, and it was kind of like encouraged for the weekend.
Yeah, and it was flashy.
And I think after COVID, it just went away.
Yeah.
Yeah. After COVID, it just went away, and this really made me think about it again and say I kind of wish it was back. I kind of wish it was still a thing. It was a lot of fun when it happened, and no one really knows why they just decided to randomly stop it. So,
yeah.
Would you love to see a Players Weekend back? Because I think it's hard to say no to that.
Count me in for Players Weekend coming back. I think I've been saying it since it basically went away during the pandemic season. It is such a fun weekend of baseball. It puts so many more eyes on the game, and usually they do it in the middle of summer when there is no other major sport going on in the United States other than baseball, and it forces people to watch the most entertaining weekend of baseball besides obviously the playoffs and all that. Like during the regular season, seeing these guys trot out there. I mean, Bryce Harper had the Philly Fanatic cleats with that pink bat and just looked amazing. I think I remember that one. Aaron Judge wearing the all black in Dodgers Stadium when the Yankees won. I think they won 2 out of 3 when they played the Dodgers. It was just, everything about it was perfect. It made the stars shine brighter and the lights be brighter. Just everything was more fun, more entertaining. And although it looked less serious based on the attire that players were wearing, it felt like they wanted to perform more. It felt like it pushed them more to play at a higher level because it's like, hey, I want to look freaking cool all the time, but to win in such a amazing way of me hitting 2 home runs and a double while using a Philly Fanatic bat is something else, or a pencil bat.
Yeah, I mean
something else.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I don't think necessarily it was that serious, this is the best. It was fun to see, but I don't think it was the premier weekend of baseball throughout the entire summer. it doesn't just because they're wearing different uniforms doesn't mean the games are going to be the most exciting
No,
out of the entire season.
It was the accessories that made it so entertaining.
Yeah, that's really all it was.
Yeah.
It's just the accessories made it fun.
And the jerseys, having different jerseys during the season was cool.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. I would love for them to bring it back, obviously. And I think most of the players would probably say, might as well. I don't see why not. It was a fun time. We got to kind of wear whatever.
And do whatever.
It was chill, The one thing you said was that this was a regular season game, didn't matter too much. Maybe to the Nationals. To the Phillies, this game definitely did matter because they're still in the playoff race.
True.
The Phillies are 2.5 games up in the NL wild card. So, they want to kind of win every game possible. Especially, they're not alone in that NL wild card race. They have the top spot right now, and they would love to keep it. But you have the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, who have won, I believe, 7 of their last 9, who are coming for you. You got the Reds, who are, they've slowed down a lot recently, but the Reds have kind of shocked a lot of people this season. The Marlins are a better team than people think. So they're not alone in that playoff race, in that wild card race. So they want to keep that spot. And I think while they did do the handshake line after the game, I think they were kind of really disappointed because they want to be winning every game possible.
Yeah, for sure. But there's no other way to put it other than this NL wild card race is getting
intense,
entertaining, and chaotic, which is the most important one. Right now, the Phillies are up 2.5 games. The San Francisco Giants, who at one point felt like they could have won the West, are now only half a game up in the NL wild card, and they have not looked good over the last 10, going 3-7. They now go to play Philadelphia. So we could see the Giants fall out, with the Cubs sitting in the third wild card spot at 64-59 on it, like same record almost as the Giants, one game off. But there's a world where after this week's series with the Giants and the Phillies, we could see maybe 2 new wild card teams in the NL wild card, with the other teams being a game or 2 back. I'm excited.
You just said something weird. You just said 2 teams in the NL wild card?
You can see 2 teams in the NL wild card flip out for 2 teams that are not in the wild card right
Gotcha.
now.
I misheard.
Because we have these are teams that are just one game out.
There's 3 teams 1 game out right now.
The Diamondbacks, the Reds, and the Marlins. Out of those 3 teams, which ones do you want? You have to pick 2.
All right. Well, which ones do I want? That's not a fair question.
Which ones do you think will make it?
Yes. I'm not gonna say who I want, but who I think will wind up in the wild card is I think the Cubs, will stay in there. I think the Cubs will probably make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Reds are going to make it just because of how much they've struggled recently. It's really between the Diamondbacks and the Marlins. The Marlins have struggled a lot recently, and the Diamondbacks have just got back on their horse. They've won 7 of their last 9. They're feeling pretty good. The only issue is, they got to keep it up. And to do that, you have to, beat the Giants, beat the Cubs. So I think if any of those teams are going to make it in, I think it's going to be the Diamondbacks more than the Marlins and the Reds, as much as I hate to say it, because I have loved watching both the Marlins and the Reds this season, but I think out of those 3, it would probably be the Diamondbacks, just because of how they've played recently, because the Diamondbacks have played so much better recently.
Yeah. I wonder this upcoming week, they're playing the Rangers and then the Reds. Should be an interesting week to watch some Diamondbacks baseball.
Yeah, the Rangers have been playing pretty good recently. They're on a 4-game losing streak, however. So I think if there's a time for the Diamondbacks to capitalize on the Rangers playing a little worse than usual, it's now. So they got them at a good time. Will they beat them? I don't know. We're going to find out, aren't we?
We're going to have to.
But I am excited to watch that matchup because when both of those teams are on, they're both really, really fun to watch. I hope Corbin Carroll can heat up as well because in the second half, Corbin Carroll has kind of slowed down a little bit. Yeah. Hopefully he can, kick it back into gear and continue to do what he was doing in the first half. But that's all I have for that series. I mean, they got Texas at a good time, considering they're hot and they want to win.
Yeah, and Texas is coming off getting swept.
Right,
so,
4-game losing streak, as I mentioned.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that series goes down, because it will be an entertaining series, don't get me wrong. Even though the Rangers are kind of stumbling a little bit, they're still one of the better teams in all of baseball when they're playing and hitting and just doing the damn thing. So it'll be entertaining to watch. Of course, for the AL, if we just want to jump into their wild card really quickly, Tampa, Houston, and Seattle are still occupying the 3 spots. However, after this weekend, after Seattle swept Houston, the Toronto Blue Jays are now only half a game out, and the Red Sox, after sweeping the Yankees, are now only 3 games out of a wild card spot. Do we see a AL wild card race? Or do you think that the teams that are locked in now will be there come the playoffs?
Yeah, well, we're gonna see a race no matter what, because there's teams on the outside. So no matter which way you put it, it's gonna be a race, because the teams on the outside are trying to get in, and the teams in the in are trying to stay in. Yeah. So it's gonna be a race no matter what, unless like the one right under the third wild card team is like 5 games back. Then it's not really a race at that point. But I said it before, and I said I think that the Red Sox will find their way into a playoff spot, and I think it's going to happen after the Red Sox, this weekend kind of embarrassed the Yankees almost. It's hard to not say that, because they just did so well and kind of went in, took care of business, came right out. The Blue Jays have struggled recently. I'm not sure how much I really believe in the Blue Jays.
I don't. I'll go out and say it.
Oh, yeah, I see weaknesses in their team, and they inconsistency really has kind of hit them a lot. While they are a good team, that doesn't help. The Mariners, they just found their way into a playoff spot for the first time this season, pretty much since like the second day of the season. But they've been really, really hot recently. So if they can continue to stay hot, it'll look good for them. And then Houston, they're going to make the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. There's no way that the Astros do not make the playoffs. Yeah. So it's really just a matter of, will Seattle stay hot for the rest of the season, or will they just get cold in the next week or two? And if they do get cold in the next week or two, my pick would be the Red Sox to hit that last wild card spot.
So I would tend to agree with you that Houston will find their way into the playoffs. However, Boston is going to play Houston this week. And with how Boston has been playing compared to how Houston has been playing over the past couple of weeks, there is a serious world where we talk about the Houston Astros not being in a playoff spot for the first time in a very, very long time.
I mean, we could say that they won't be in a playoff spot. They weren't earlier this year.
But will that carry over?
No, I'm saying they will be making the playoffs this year. There is almost no doubt in my mind about that.
All right.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the underdogs. Count me in for the Blue Jays and the Red Sox making the playoffs. I don't know how. I don't know when, but I will always root for the chaos and the collapses and the rise and falls of everything to go perfect.
It would be It would be crazy if the Astros didn't make the playoffs. In that case, I think I would like to see Boston and Seattle, because again, I don't really believe in this Blue Jays team to make a deep playoff run. Boston and Seattle, I can both see getting hot and making a deep playoff run. I just cannot see that with the Blue Jays. The Rays are going to stay in that top wild card spot for the rest of the season. I feel like that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, and with the way that Seattle has been playing, along with the way that Julio Rodriguez has been playing, there's a very, very slim chance that, there's very slim doubts in my mind about the Seattle Mariners maintaining a playoff spot, because Julio has been on an absolute tear as of recently.
Yeah, Julio Rodriguez. In case you haven't seen, I feel bad for you, because Julio Rodriguez has been arguably like the best player in baseball in the last week. He set a major league record, so of history in the making here, of 17 hits in 4 games. In case you don't know, that is absolutely insane. He has been the biggest part of why the Mariners are in that playoff spot, like you said, Lewis, and why they've won 6 straight and are looking really, really good. So what happened with Julio is Wednesday, the 16th, he went 4 for 6 with a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 steals. On the 17th, which was Thursday, he went 5 for 5 with a homer, a double, and 5 RBIs. On Friday, the 18th, he went 4 for 5 with a homer, an RBI, and 2 steals. And then on the 19th, he went 4 for 6 with a stolen base. He just could not stop getting on base. It was absolutely insane. It was so much fun to watch. Julio is a beast, by the way.
Yeah. And if he is going to continue this path of just tearing it up, in the last week, having 17 hits in I think 18 plate appearances or something like that, or 19 or 17 plate appearances, is crazy. And he's doing it without hitting the long ball, which I think is very important to note, because in baseball, yes, if you can score an automatic run with hitting the ball over the fence, it obviously means a lot. But with the way that this Mariners team has been hitting as of recently and the way that they've been performing, it's great to see that Julio knows that he doesn't need to hit the ball over the fence every time. He can still help the team by hitting that single, hitting that double, because even when he gets on base, he can steal. He can just do it all. He's a 5-tool player, and there's a reason why he got that massive contract in his rookie year. Julio is a one-of-a-kind player, and it's very, very hard not to notice how good he is.
Yeah, he raised his stats a lot throughout that 17 hits in 4 games, which, kind of obvious. But Julio was having a worse season than his rookie year in terms of, batting average, OPS, all that.
Yeah.
Just over the course of this weekend, he has raised his batting average, his OPS, still not to where they were last season, but getting very close. And if he continues to stay hot, they will be exactly where they were last season, which is absolutely insane. His batting average is 278. I want to say it was low 260s before that 4-game stretch. His OPS is at 798. I think it was like low 7s before that stretch. This was like the best thing that could have happened to Julio this season. And I'm honestly really happy for him, because it was electric, to be honest.
Yeah. The kid is just something else, man, and it is just amazing to get to watch him play.
I agree. Of course.
Yes.
Julio has been hot, as we said. Another team that has been pretty hot recently is the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers played the Marlins this weekend. They moved one game, right? They moved the Sunday game to Saturday to do a doubleheader because of the hurricane. By the way, did you see the picture of Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, completely
underwater.
Flooded.
Yeah, insane. But they did win 2 of 3 from the Marlins. They swept that doubleheader, and they continue to be the hottest team in baseball. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They just came off an 11-game win streak.
Their only loss was the Sandy game, which we spoke about before the weekend started, where we kind of knew that Sandy was probably going to get to him, and he did. They wound up losing 11-3, and the boys down south showed out. It was fun. It was a fun little series.
It was fun, yeah. The other 2 games were really close. Yuri Perez had an insanely good start against the Dodgers. They did wind up losing that game. I know Mookie Betts had 2 home runs in one of the games in the doubleheader. That series kind of didn't really disappoint. I really, really enjoyed that series because you had the Marlins kind of taking game 1 in like no doubt fashion. Like that was pretty easy.
In dominant fashion.
Yeah, easy. It was easy for them.
Yeah.
But then the next 2 games, they lost kind of close games, but the Dodgers wound up getting it done. So I think that was a really good series. Didn't disappoint me in the slightest. For both of those teams heading into this week, the Marlins visit the Padres in San Diego, which should be a pretty fun series as well because, well, depends on how the Padres want to play.
True. Really
depends on if that series is good or not. And the Dodgers head to Cleveland And tomorrow they will be going against Noah Syndergaard, which is going to be pretty funny, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. What else we got here today? I don't have much else, to be quite honest.
No, I mean, there was a lot of just interesting one-off things, of course, the Mason Wynn and Pete Alonso situation.
Yeah,
which,
that was fun.
Genuinely, watching it back over and over and over again makes my heart hurt, because I think, genuinely, when you watch it, yes, it looks like Pete Alonso was pointing towards the dugout like, hey, do you want the ball? But he was talking to his pitcher. And after the pitcher, he saw that the pitcher had the ball. He threw it into the stands without thinking. And the way that he apologized to Mason Wynn, I think, was a very, very nice gesture. And I'm happy that they don't hate each other because of it.
I'm going to be honest. The way he apologized was very funny because, like, what's Mason Wynn going to do with the signed Pete Alonso bat?
I don't know.
Why would Mason Wynn care about a signed?
No, I'm talking about what actually happened on the field. Like, it seemed genuine. It was nice.
He didn't say sorry on the field.
Yes, he did. Yeah, the first base coach told him. On the field, he did apologize.
I don't know.
And, you could see that there was a lot of...
I'm not saying he wasn't sorry. I'm saying the gift he gave him.
The gift was
he gave him, like, a 200 bottle of wine. Like, okay, the guy's in the MLB now. He can afford a 200 bottle. It's nice. It's a nice gesture. I think the bat one was a lot funnier.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you a signed bat. Oh. Nice. You know, I play Major League Baseball too, right? Like, he's not like a kid. Can I get your bat after the game? Like, it's not one of those. But I found that one pretty funny. But overall, I said it when it first happened. Pete did not mean to do it, obviously. And I think he did handle the situation pretty well, considering, he did throw the guy's first hit into the stands. Yeah. And they got the ball back, too, from what I heard.
They did.
Which is nice.
Another thing, Dallas Keuchel, out of nowhere, went 7 perfect innings for the Twins, which was...
Love it.
Completely out of left field. I didn't even know that he was starting for the Twins.
Really? That wasn't his first start.
No, I did not know that he was even on the Twins Major League roster. I knew that he signed a minor league deal with them. I did not know that he was on their Major League roster, which I thought was crazy. And the last thing that I wrote down that I think is interesting, Luis Castillo still made an impact for the Reds this weekend, as the Reds called up Noviel Marte.
Yep.
Which, if you have read or heard anything about this guy, or even used his card in MLB The Show, you know that this guy is set to become an absolute demon. Sure, he only played 1 game, 4 at-bats, got 1 hit, got that out of the way, that's good, but it's only up from here for a guy like Noviel Marte. He is set to be amazing, and I am very much looking forward to seeing how he fits into this already extremely young Reds offense.
Yeah, and he is the 14th player on the Reds to debut this season, which is the most all-time. I'm excited to see how he kind of turns out, too. It's really just everyone on the Reds. You're kind of watching the Reds games and being like, oh, there's a rookie, and he's doing pretty good.
Hey,
oh, there's another rookie, and he's doing pretty good. Yeah. Oh, there's another. It's just like rookie after rookie after rookie, or young guy after young guy after young guy, and they're all doing pretty well. Their pitching has kind of failed them recently, which is why they've been on such a bad stretch of games. But overall, I think the Reds are still one of the more fun teams in baseball. Most fun teams in baseball, even when they're losing.
Yeah, for sure. I think the one thing that this team is missing, believe it or not, is like that one old veteran guy who can help lead the way. And right now, their veteran is a guy like Jonathan India and Tyler Stevenson, which...
This is Jonathan India's 3rd season.
Yeah, third season. Tyler Stevenson has been around a little bit longer than that, I believe. Yeah, he's been around for 4 seasons, but he's been on the Reds. So, how much experience can he really bring? I wish that they spent money in free agency. Imagine this team with Aaron Judge. Just imagine it.
That'd be fun.
It would be so much fun.
That would be fun. But it's never going to happen because they have all these young guys. And they, imagine in the next 4 years where these guys, all the guys that debuted now, all have 4 years of experience. They've all been with each other for 4 years. Yeah, it's going to be some nice team chemistry in that clubhouse.
Especially if they can find a way to get guys like Hunter Green completely healthy and have him become an Iron Man. Got Graham Ashcraft, and if they keep Alexis Diaz, Alex Young, Lucas Sims, these guys in their bullpen that are shut down almost. I really hope that this team has such a sturdy great foundation that I would not be upset with them trying to, quote, speed up their rebuild and go out and sign these big-ticket guys like Josh Hader, free agent at the end of the season. Would be a lot of fun to see him and Alexis Diaz going back and forth, closing out every game, every other day.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, let's do it. Might as well.
Might as well. There are guys... Shohei Ohtani on this team. Let me just say it.
It's been mocked. Like, it's been
mocked.
joked about. You know, it could... You know, it would be fun if it actually happened. It's not going to, but it would be fun.
Oh, yeah. But would it surprise me if Shohei Ohtani wanted to... Shohei Ohtani, we saw it, and I think I mentioned this the other day as well. We saw him in the WBC. He wants to compete. He wants to win a championship. I can't think of many better places to completely slot in and compete if you're Shohei Ohtani than Cincinnati. Count me in. He would be...
Not happening.
They would build...
We're entertaining this idea way too much because it's not going to happen.
They would put a statue up of him
Yeah,
before opening day.
We're entertaining the idea way too much because it's simply not going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see.
I can guarantee
there are
you
29 teams that 28 teams that have the opportunity.
I understand
to
that.
Ohtani.
I understand that. That does not mean it's going to happen.
We'll see.
The Pirates also have a chance to shine Shohei. The Marlins, like he's. This is an off-season conversation. Shohei will not be on the Reds next year. We're entertaining it too much for my liking because I want it to happen so bad.
I do too. We'll just have to wait and see. It'll be fun though.
We will. It will be fun. I wanted to mention one Mr. Gunnar Henderson from yesterday. Orioles A's playing, and Gunnar Henderson is a single shy of the cycle. The Orioles were up 10-1, single shy of the cycle. Gunnar hits it. It gets down for a base hit, and he hits it, and he goes for two, and hits a double. He could have stopped it first. He really could have stopped it first, but he went for that extra bag, got a double, did not get the cycle. He said, I don't care. Let me raise my OPS. And honestly, I love it, and I can't blame him. Like, at all. I can't blame him in the slightest for doing that.
Not one bit. I mean, Gunnar, I think I texted it to you, actually, after I saw it. Gunnar Henderson definitely has himself in fantasy. No ifs or buts about it. If he does play fantasy baseball,
he can't.
Add in that extra one base.
He can't play fantasy baseball. He's a Major League Baseball player.
No, there's no gambling involved in it.
You can't play fantasy baseball if you're a professional.
Well, you never know. He might have himself on fantasy, or he knows someone who has him on fantasy.
I think more of what
which really funny.
I think more of what it is he's, he has had a pretty good year considering, but I think, he's sitting there going, why not raise my OPS a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, win
Look as
Rookie
good
of
as
the Year
possible.
here. I'm trying to win Rookie of the Year here. I'm trying to do as best as I can. The single is cool, but at the end of the day, having a cycle doesn't
do anything for his OPS.
After that season, people aren't looking back and going, "Oh my God, Gunnar Henderson had a cycle." Like
Against
that's
the
insane.
Athletics.
He'd rather get that extra base hit, get that extra base, raise that OPS, and honestly, I can't blame him. Good for Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, clap it up.
I'm
Clap it
happy.
up.
That's the last thing that I got. The Orioles, by the way, did sweep the A's as well.
Yeah. Are we surprised though?
Because the Orioles played the A's, so that'll do it.
Yep. Only the best team in the American League, Orioles, played the worst team, the Oakland Athletics. Who would have thought that you would have been saying that in 2019?
2019?
When the
back in
Athletics were good.
Gotcha. Yeah. You got a point.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the last thing that we have left to do is our weekly ding dongs.
The weekly ding dongs, yeah. That's the last thing I can think of. Do you want to get started with your picks from last week?
Yeah, so last week I picked Luis Robert Jr. and Matt Olson. Sadly, Matt Olson, who is leading the league in home runs.
You jinxed him.
Felt completely cold, completely jinxed him. That sucks.
You jinxed him.
However, Lou Bob hit 2 for me. That raises my total on the year to 39, which... Feeling good. How about yourself? How'd you do?
Yeah, so Trevor Story had 0 for me, and Austin Riley had 1, and it was the day I picked him. So
Yep.
I'll take that. I did fall 1 behind, so I have 36 on the year. So now I'm only 3 behind. I will take the first pick because I'm losing. I think I have to go with him. I'm going with Julio Rodriguez.
Okay.
After the week he just put together, I'm hoping he can continue to do it, and I'm going Julio.
Hopefully you don't jinx him. All right.
Hopefully not.
So I will then take my American League player as well. I'm going to go with Aaron Judge. unit of a man.
He was my second choice.
Yeah,
I've already picked him, I think, maybe twice this... Or no, I picked him once this season, so I held off.
I actually have not picked a Yankee yet this season. So, first Yankee being Aaron Judge, I like it for myself. And I will also take my National League right now. I'm going to go Brian Reynolds, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Why not? I feel like he's been kind of on a heater. He's been seeing the ball well and been playing well since the All-Star break. I want to get behind that. I want to support that, and I want to be there for the success.
Wait, who was it?
Brian Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Interesting. I don't hate it. Brian Reynolds.
Yes. Who are you going for your National League pick?
My National League pick, I'm going to the boys down south, and I'm going with Jorge Soler.
God bless him.
Soler's been really good recently.
Yeah.
He has been on quite a homer tear, low-key, almost.
Very, very low.
So, I'm taking Jorge Soler.
Especially because I feel like Josh Bell for the boys down south has been hitting all of the home runs, all of the clutch, more...
No,
Soler.
But
Soler is getting them too.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think Soler's been doing it just as much. He had 4 home runs last week, I think he hit one. Yeah, he had 4 home runs last week. So
I love that.
Have that as you will. Jorge Soler and Julio are my picks. Your picks are Aaron Judge and Brian Reynolds.
Yeah.
One thing that I did think about that I do want to just mention really quick is a couple of draft picks from this year. Paul Skenes and Dylan Crews. There is some news on both of them. We'll start with Paul Skenes. Paul Skenes, he's currently in low A for the Pirates. He's thrown 4 innings, struck out 5, while allowing just 1 hit and no earned runs. So, obviously, a lot of people are saying that Skenes is ready for the majors already, and they should just call him up because why not? Because his velo is there, he's got the stamina and all that. So, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see where the Pirates wind up placing him after he finishes ramping up in the minors because, obviously he's only thrown 4 innings. He's played in 3 games, I think, so he's only doing like a couple innings every appearance. So once he fully ramps up and gets that arm ready again, I'm interested to see if, he does maybe wind up pitching in the majors this season. That would be kind of insane, to be honest.
I genuinely think that he will be a September call-up, especially with the fact that he was so ready coming out of college and going into the MLB draft. And why would you want to waste valuable innings if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates for your AA team and AAA team when it almost feels like Paul Skenes, even if he cannot win a Cy Young, just over dramatic here next season, just developing him in the majors, knowing what his competition will be like for the next 15 to 25 years based on genuinely how long he wants to play because he seems dominant, he seems ready, and I think that we should see him up in the majors as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, I agree in a sense. I think that he should get a start in AAA beforehand. I don't think they should just send him right up to the majors. Maybe 1 start in AA, 1 start in AAA, then maybe
he's there.
I don't know. I think there's a couple different ways to do it, but
Bubba is playing Road to the Show. I love that for him.
I think it's pretty fun. I'm excited to see where it takes him. And then as far as the number 2 overall pick in the draft, Dylan Crews of the Nationals, he's currently headed to AA in Harrisburg, the Harrisburg Senators, the Nationals AA affiliate. Shout out John Crispino. He slashed .385 with a 1.123 OPS with 5 homers, 4 doubles, and 24 RBIs in rookie ball. So it's safe to say that he is ready for AA to skip high A. I think it'll be really interesting how quickly he can move up after he goes to AA, see if he can continue to be, just a hit machine. So that's Dylan Crews. I just wanted to provide a little update on that. And now that's all I got.
That's it. Let's go 2023 draft picks. Get after it. And
let's go baseball.
Let's go baseball, of course.
We thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing. If you liked, make sure to leave a like and subscribe or follow on the podcast app if that's what you're listening on. Spotify or Apple, I don't know. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. My name is Dylan Crews. And I'm Dylan Crews, me.